Hi guys, this is my Godfather OG clone that I'm growing outside in a 4x8 by 10 foot high enclosure next to the ocean here. And I grew a few of these plants inside this year, and this is one of the clones, the better of them, that I brought out here. First clone for me growing outside. But I do grow outside quite a bit, and have been for quite a few years, but most of my growing on a daily basis is done indoors. But I'm happy with the way this plant's working out. I want to talk to you a little bit about it, and and get some other views from other people on how they're doing, if they grow in this type of environment, any suggestions they have. I haven't showed this plant in, I don't know, 10, 12 days, but it's really starting the bulk phase right now. It's really fattening up, as you can see. It's very healthy. There's no yellow leaves, nothing on it, no powdered mildew. You can see where I first topped this clone. It was a lot taller then, but it was in a pot, and I cut several branches off it, and then I planted it out here on July 15th from a 3-gallon bag. And just recently, I believe I'm about 4 weeks out on harvesting this. I don't think it's going to be quite ready from what I know until about second week of October. So that'll be difficult here in Maine, and it's always a chance in Maine growing outside. So and I hate harvesting early. That's the biggest issue I have, because it don't matter what you make out of it, it's still harvested early. But this right here is part of the reason I put this plastic on the backdrop of this. I'm growing this plant to give it to somebody else that lives right around here. But so what I'm going to is, because I topped this, and it is a clone, it doesn't have a humongous stalk like it should for being 9.5 feet tall. I have cut off the sides, or pruned the sides, to fit it 4x4 and not to rely too much on laying on that plastic sheet in the background. Last week, or 6 days ago probably, I put almost 4 pounds of Gaia Green multi-bloom, and about 2 pounds of multi-purpose, and about maybe 3 gallons of worm casings, all on that top circle there. It's kind of hard to see now. I didn't water this plant today, and I won't. Yeah, and then just smeared it all on the top of that and all around it, because that's a lot of ground, to be honest with you. So that's kind of that's a big investment right there, that I just put into this plant, that I really think's, as far as, for me to want to smoke it, it's got a 50-50 chance. I'm hoping it makes it. This year's the type of year when an outdoor plant in Maine can make it. We're having a drought. So it's kind of like indoors, except for we did have some heavy rain, and that brings moisture in the grass, and these plants moisture at night, and that becomes very deadly when these buds really start stacking like they will over the next 4 weeks. This plant's getting very sticky. I have a terrible, but we'll try to show you what I can. There's been no bugs, no pests, no powder mildew, nothing like that. But I owe that also, again, to some of the amendments I use. And I've talked about this in the past, but if you're a newer viewer, I use this inside and outside, because it's beneficial for several different areas of plant coverage, and that's monosalicylic acid. And that's one of the, now I have this plant tied up. I'm not going to say, hey guys, this is you know, all going to grow. But I have wires all throughout this structure, which we have to have here to legally grow outside. So, excuse me, I just smoked some. Not this, but something pretty damn decent. So I have this wired up, but monosalicylic acid, what it will do is it's going to enter your plant. I give it every second day. You have to put that in your water first. It's a 0.5 milliliter per gallon. So yes, those bottles will cost you anywhere from 90 to $100. You pick the brand, just make sure it's monosalicylic. So it's water soluble, and it'll come as a liquid, not a powder. I don't mix nutrients with it because they're already in the soil. I add them through Gaia Green. But what it does for the plant is it gives it exceptional strength. It strengthens the outer membrane of each one of these limbs, not only them, but the leaves themselves, as this plant absorbs it. And that's a very small amount. It doesn't feed the plant anything. It doesn't give the plant any nutrient. It just is absorbed, and it attaches to the cells and right outside the nerve, and that helps protect it from the spores, say powder mildew spores floating around in this enclosure with this tent. Well, that little hook on the powder mildew spore can't puncture the skin or leaf due to the monosalicylic acid or silica that's hardened it. I believe this. I've watched the benefits of strength that it gives plants on inside growing. This is why I don't use a trellis anymore, or haven't used one in quite a while, and won't ever again. But I really want to see, and now this is a first plant, other than my others. I mean, but this would be the first clone. I only have 3 other plants outside. They're in a different spot. And there's another area they had here to grow, but I didn't want to use it. It's right underneath the roof. So anyways, yeah, this is a clone. So I thought, you know, most of these plants now are bred. They're genetically bred to be grown indoors, so they lose some of their outdoor safety capabilities of protecting themselves. You know, just take for instance, you know, the easiest one being the sticky part of the bud, you know, to help capture insects that are walking across it. You know, I think outdoor plants produce certain chemicals that indoors won't, and they provide more cannabinoids. If grown correctly, like say in a great location like California, where you can take it to fruition and you can be consistent, I think that's no problem. Here in Maine, that's difficult to do. But this year we have a chance, enough for me to invest about $55 in the top dressing I just stuck on top of this, and the time I put into it. And it's very difficult to work on when you can't get in the enclosure, you know, so you cut holes through the wire or whatever. But so it's in the bulking stage. It's sticky. I'm seeing THC on it. And it's starting, the terpenes are starting to come in. It smells really nice. And my goddamn neighbor's mowing his lawn. Just come to see what I'm doing. I apologize about that. He'll shut it off momentarily. It's half deaf. But, yeah, Gaia Green, monosalicylic acid. I do use Growers Recharge, not because it's the greatest thing in the world, but it is decent. And I really don't even think the soil out here needs it. But it's beneficial if you read the ingredients. Adds a little mycorrhizae and some other things in there that the plant's going to like. So if you've been following this clone along, I appreciate it. I'll try to back up here a little bit. Well, let me close this door. And I'll show you it from, I ain't worried about that, but show you how she looks from this angle. Almost taking up the whole 8 feet, which was kind of hard to do for me, but she's got a lot there. You know what I mean? That's a little scary. But I worry that I might have kept too much. But so yeah, so there she is. These side branches are very nice. They're wired up as well. What I'll do is, if this plant gets very close and rain's coming, or it does rain, I'll harvest the top part of it, and I'll choose where I do that from. And I'll come on, what I'll do is I'll come over and basically cut this plant right where my hand is on up to save those best top colas and parts of these. Then I'll leave the lower branches down below, watch for bud rot constantly, and let them mature a little longer, and they'll actually gain bigger in size as well from the sunlight or UV. So that's what I'm going to do here. That's what I always did in Michigan. Yeah, I think I'm hitting all the bases correctly. I'm spraying this plant. Oh, don't use monosilicic acid. I don't use it past the more. Stop using it about 3 weeks before you harvest, or 2 weeks. You know, it's not going to hurt it, but you're just wasting your silica at that point. Oh man, that's nice coming out here being high and wasting your time. But yeah, so I've done most everything I can do for this plant, except for there's grafting tape, limb grafting tape, there's growers Velcro, there's stuff I could wrap around the bottom of that right now, say if I was worried that a storm's going to come, because this has happened to me outside with seeded plants, where they'll break at that topping, the first top, if you don't wait high enough, or if it's just hit by enough wind here. I mean, we get some serious wind here. But I'm not going to do it. You could do that to this plant right now, because that stalk's not probably going to get any bigger than what it is currently at this point. So it wouldn't hurt it. But earlier it could have been done. But I have the plastic sheet. So that provides me the wind coverage I need for now. And I think it will do all right. So that's where I'm at with this plant. That's what I'm giving it. I'm hoping she's going to be a producer. I'll try to really get a decent size weed in there so you can actually see the plant instead of the part of it that was all pruned to fit in this 4x4 side, which right here is basically similar to laying against a tent, but you really have to watch that. I began defoliating the hell out of it. I'm just here and there as I'm around it. I have to be very careful. I have plants inside, and I don't need any problems from this. But everything's going well. If you follow us along and or have any tips or suggestions, I do have a few rolled leaf tips you can see right there. I don't know if you can see them, but if you look long enough, you can. But I know what caused that. And on top of the cola there, for this clone anyways, it really got quite a few colas on it, but is a little lighter, and that's just due to it gets more sunlight than the rest of the plant, because this tree blocks a shitload of it, but it does get quite a bit of sunlight. But this clone, I found that it needs far less sunlight than the other plants I have outside right now. So that's been cool. This has been an experiment for me in a way, but I'm invested in it now. So let's, for me, I'm hoping I get another 4 weeks out of it, and I hope I get a chance to show you guys, and you follow along. And if you've got some outdoor plants, hit me up, let me know. I'll watch. I'd love to see them. And and your hints and tips, especially if you live in an environment like Michigan, Maine, Northern Hemisphere. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's following along. Have a great Saturday today, or Sunday. God, like I said, wow, I just smoked some of that lava cake that I just, man, it's barely been cured 3 weeks. Really nice, really nice. But anyway, anyways, not like you're here to hear that. But all right, have a great weekend. Peace, guys.